And I remember sitting here in my study and just thinking, God, how are we going to manage this? And it was as though God downloaded a prayer to me. It was worry less, pray more, trust me with the results. And that became a mantra of mine. And I mentioned it in messages, I'd write about it, and I'd have to remind myself about it. That was really what it was I need to worry less, I need to pray more, I need to trust God with the results. And the more that I leaned into that, I'll be honest with you, the more God showed up and showed out in ways that just defies logic and reason, which is the way the Lord wants to work anyway, right? And so worry less, pray more, trust me with the results. That's how I managed some of those early challenging transitions, and I try to manage my life every single day.
Hey, it's Two Pastors Unplugged podcast. I'm Rick Probst, and I'm back with this guy. Now, if you're watching Pastor Mark Jordan, you'll see, Captain America, action figures, Superman. He is actually the new Superman. They've decided to pick Pastor Mark as the guy in the movie, and he's not wearing his cape today, but maybe next time when we have him on the show. Pastor, how are you?
I'm great. It is a red T-shirt to honor the cape, and I promise I have lifts in my shoes, so I look more 6'4" than 5'8". I promise.
Now, you and Ezra, my producer, for those of you that don't know, he's been with me for years, and he's an amazing young man. Pastor Mark and Ezra were talking Superman, and they were in fact, he was digging back into Christopher Reeve days, which is I'm 64. I remember clearly when that movie came out. So what is it about Superman, or maybe it's all superheroes that attracts you?
Well, it definitely is Superman. I'll tell you, mentioning the Christopher Reeve, that was the first movie that I got to see in the theater as a little boy. I was about 5 years old.
Yeah.
And, the old movie posters that said, "Do you believe a man can fly?" It did not take much to convince my 5-year-old little mind that that Superman was just the coolest thing ever. And of course, that was back during the time of the Super Friends cartoon that was on Saturday morning. And
sure.
and my mom, my grandma made me the capes and things I had to run around the house. But so Superman made an impact on me. I was actually in college and had to write some type of a position or persuasion paper. And it was there when I really began to realize that the Superman story had a lot of allusions to the story of Christ. And then I began to research that and found just so many incredible and unbelievable connections between Superman and Jesus. And then, of course, when that movie, The Man of Steel, came out a number of years ago, Zack Snyder, the director, that he really went full on in trying to depict some of that Christian allegory, and I just was head over heels. I know some people found the movie controversial, but that movie just really spoke to me, and even down to when he opens up his suit and he says, this is the symbol for hope in my world. And isn't it true that we need a little hope? And that gets back to what Ezra and I were talking about. There's a lot of talk in the culture right now that we need hope. And just as the Superman movie in the 70s came out and helped provide a little hope in the time when the culture was bleak, I think there's hope that this new one that's coming out in July will do the same.
Yeah, looking forward to that, and we'll have to pick your brain on it after it comes out, and we'll have you back on the show if you're up for it. I'm gonna go way back now. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in the 50s, there was a television show called Superman. George Reeves was Superman. A friend of mine played Little Ricky on I Love Lucy, and he was somewhere around 3 to 5. And I was talking to him one day, and I said, "Listen, he was on Andy Griffith's show. He was Opie's best friend, but he was Little Ricky." And I said, "What was your favorite show, your favorite I Love Lucy show?" And he said it was the one when George Reeves was on. Yeah. And if you've ever seen the show, Lucy dressed up because she didn't think he was coming as Superman and put a football helmet over her head and ended up on the ledge. So it's a hysterical one. So, the character of Superman has been going for generations. And I love, because I had heard this before too. You mentioned about just the symbolism of Superman and Jesus. Have you ever used that in a message? Have you ever preached a message like that?
Oh boy, yes. Much to probably our church members' chagrin, how many times I bring it up. And I just say that jokingly. I try not to go overboard on it, but
Yeah,
I mean, even going down to his Kryptonian name, Kal-El. El, of course, is it's the word for God, or one of the ways that we look at God in Hebrew,
right, right.
and Kal is light. So basically, it's the God of light, the symbol of hope. That's the story of Superman, and it resonated with me when I was 5, and now that I'm in my uh, well, I'm a little older than 5. Now that I'm, here I am. I love it. I really do. I absolutely love it.
Well, Pastor Mark is the pastor of a Hope Church, and you never know if you'll go visit. He may actually preach in a Superman outfit. That could be coming up. Placeofhope.org is a place to go to. We always ask our guests, "What do you want to talk about?" I prep. I always prep. I'm looking on Facebook. I'm reading, thinking about the questions that I want to ask, and digging into the church and the experience. And I love that you said we'll talk about hope, the Hope People of Hope Church, and adoption. So I do want to get into that. You've been there now. What you said? I think you said 5 years.
5 years. That's
That
right.
would be 2020. Something else interesting happened in 2020. COVID. How'd you guys do
Yeah.
through that?
Wow. It was it was something else,
Yeah,
because I had my first staff meeting. I think it was March 15th, and wasn't that the day or the next day when 15 days to slow the spread
yeah,
came? And I actually didn't start my ministry here until April, and so we spent the first almost 3 months only doing virtual worship.
yeah.
and and it was kind of a peculiar way for the folks to for us to get to know each other through the screen, but we leaned into, of course, pre-recorded messages and live social media, live things like that. We did a couple, drive up and meet me here at the church type things, and
Oh,
and
that's
all that
good.
went really well. Yeah,
Yeah.
we tried to lean into all the different things that other people were doing that worked out really well. But it wasn't until, I guess, probably June or July, we got back into the building, and it's been great. I mean, of course, we've had some of the challenges that many churches faced coming out of the COVID era,
Sure.
and had some folks leave, some folks migrated to other places, had some folks move away, but we it helped us with a new. I guess in a way, it kind of helped us to push the reset button with a new pastoral ministry team, and a new vision. And hey, I think we're thriving, even coming out of that.
I love how that so many churches did roll with the punches, right? And they figured out ways to stay connected. And the whole drive up thing, I think, was just genius. So many people did it. Some people mocked it a bit, but I think it was a hungry people trying to stay connected, which is beautiful, and what we're called to do. Well, let's talk a little bit about what is it, if I ask Pastor Mark Jordan to describe the folks at Hope Church. Give me 3 words. I asked one pastor for one word, and then I thought, well, one word, you just can't describe them in one word, can you? Or maybe you can.
Ah, I I think I would say available. If I
Available.
could if I could do it in one word, and then maybe take 30 or 40 minutes to unpack that. I'm joking, of course, but to because when we first came, of course, it was in the middle of the pandemic. They made themselves available to
Hmm,
get together, get to know each other through that. As we've gone through changes and transitions in the church's ministry, of course, they've stayed open and available to new options, new opportunities. Of course, that's not to say that we don't run into each other every now and then, like what happens when you're dealing with humanity.
right.
But they've always been open and available to trying new things, experimenting with new approaches to the old message, the timeless message, I'd say. And they've been available, and the way that they have opened their hearts and their lives to us. I mean, I still feel in ways like I'm talking like I've only been here a couple weeks, but it's just been absolutely extraordinary, and I love it. It's a very unique church, very loving church, and they want to make themselves available through their time, talents, their gifts, their service, and their witness to help the community and the world know about Jesus.
Hey, we hear that you're loving Two Pastors Unplugged, so we want to remind you to hit the subscribe button right there on the bottom and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're an audio only, we love you. Thank you for listening to us. And you can subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And there's a new episode that drops every Tuesday morning, so look out for that. And hey, thanks for listening. Now, back to the show.
Pastor, what helps you in you brought up transitions, and we all go through transitions, right? Whether we're pastoring a church or in a job or in relationships or whatever. Let's talk about transitions. How have you managed to stay positive, you yourself as a leader, and inspire your board, your elders, your staff, your people around you, and the congregation? How have you managed to do that?
Well, honestly, prayer. I can remember sitting in my study here, thinking, God, the task is too big. With all the transitions with COVID. We had one of our dearly beloved staff persons was killed in a car accident shortly after I arrived, and we were trying to manage and navigate these things without really knowing each other. And I remember sitting here in my study and just thinking, God, how are we going to manage this? And it was as though God downloaded a prayer to me. It was worry less, pray more, trust me with the results. And that became a mantra of mine. And I mentioned it in messages, I'd write about it, and I'd have to remind myself about it. That was really what it was I need to worry less, I need to pray more, and I need to trust God with the results. And the more that I leaned into that, I'll be honest with you, the more God showed up and showed out in ways that just defies logic and reason, which is the way the Lord wants to work anyway, right? And so worry less, pray more, trust me with the results. That's how I managed some of those early challenging transitions, and I try to manage my life every single day.
I love that. I just wrote that down because I was, and I had to remember the third one because I was sitting here listening to you at the same time. Worry less, pray more, trust God with the results. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Pastor Mark.
Go ahead. So cool. No, I was going to say, and it really was literally like God downloaded it to me. And so I hold on to that. Worry less, pray more, trust me with the results.
And with something like that, as you pass that on to people in your congregation and people around in your community and your friends and your family, those kinds of things stick in the heart and helps folks through transition. Well, let's talk a little bit about, and you and I talked a little bit about before we started, you're listening to Two Pastors Unplugged. I'm Rick Probst. Pastor Mark Jordan here with me from Hope Church, Dallas. We talked about Cameroon, and you mentioned that there's a fairly large population in that area of folks from Cameroon. What would they be called? What are Cameroon people called? People from Cameroon.
Friends.
Well, I guess somebody from Pittsburgh, they're Pittsburghers.
I guess we say Cameroonians.
I thought of that, but I thought that doesn't sound right. But either way, folks from Cameroon, they're not only in the congregation but in the community. And you guys reach out and minister to orphans in Cameroon. In fact, pretty soon you're having. I love this now. Pork butt pre-sale, proceeds going to Christmas for Cameroon, and a hot rod car show, which I'm into as well. And that's also for the orphanage in Cameroon. Tell us why Cameroon and why the orphanage there.
Well, because of our personal connections with families here. One of our we have several dear families, but one of the men who's been in leadership in the church here, of course, immigrated here from Cameroon and had such a passion for trying to provide hope for the children who were living in orphanages, whether they were abandoned, but they were orphaned due to health reasons, violence, and just the cultural upheaval. And so, his name is Emmanuel. And he started a nonprofit. Of course, this precedes my time here at Hope Church, but he started a nonprofit called the Emmanuel Project. And the goal of that was to provide gifts at Christmas and to share the gospel for children who were in those orphanages in Cameroon. And it's been just an absolutely amazing experience. And we really do call it our year-round. It's kind of our all-encompassing mission project here because we start in the spring. We do these car shows. We used to do 5Ks, but we had to back off of that during COVID because people just really weren't doing that type of thing. So we tried something different. And so we have these Hope and Hot Rods car shows. We usually do 2 of them a year where we have vendors from all over the community come. And then, of course, people register their cars to come. And we do have prizes and things like that. And then the vendors sell their wares. And then we sell barbecue sandwiches. And then the guys that have the missionary team that does the barbecue, they do pre-sell their pork butt, so you can buy a sandwich and take a whole pork butt home, which is an extraordinary thing. But then we do Christmas in July. We wrap that in with our vacation Bible school, where the whole our mission outreach is about collecting toys, hygiene items, school supplies, gently used clothes or brand new clothes. And then we collect those. And then usually right around the first of the school year, right around early August, we have a service Sunday where we prepare all the toys, we package them, we load them up, and then we ship them. And it takes that amount of time to get them across the ocean, and then for them to clear customs. And then the Emmanuel Project has a team over there in Africa. And many times it's their families part of it. They'll go over to Cameroon, and they'll sort everything and get everything ready, and then figure out the number of children in the different orphanages. I hate to say, I forget how many orphanages that we're helping to serve now, but then they'll deliver them. And usually by the time we get together for worship on Christmas Eve here at Hope Church, we have some pictures and videos of the toys being distributed. And then so really on Christmas Eve, we're starting, part of our offering goes to help this year's program. So it's a year-long mission program, and I absolutely love it.
Now, what are the responses of orphans when they see the generosity? If they're old enough to, to realize what's going on, what's their response?
It's overwhelming. It really is. Usually the orphanage directors, they do a lot of try to do some creative things. Like they'll sing songs to us and in the videos, and they'll say thank you, but it's really overwhelming. And some of these children, when they first come into the orphanage, the stuff that they've received, maybe the very first gift that they've ever received. One of the stories that we like to share, one of the times when one of our mission teams was on the ground over there, there was this little child, I think he was about 3 years old, and wasn't wearing a stitch of clothing. And the lady asked the orphanage director, what's going on with him? And she just looked and said, he came with everything he had, which was absolutely nothing. And so we've, as the needs have grown, the outreach has grown as well. And so the first couple of years, if we didn't necessarily collect enough toys, they would just remove the toys from the boxes, and the kids who got the empty boxes, were just as pleased as the kids who got a soccer ball or a Barbie doll. And so we've really expanded things now. So to my knowledge, that hasn't been the case in the last couple of years, but we really do try to make sure that with the hygiene items, the school supplies, the toys, and the clothes, that we are sharing the hope of Christ with children who are in just unimaginable circumstances.
And it sounds like that the congregation, I mean, their hearts are huge, so generous in and being able to minister to those orphans.
Oh, yeah, it's extraordinary. It really is. And then of course to see the pictures and to hear the stories of these children, it really is a remarkable thing.
I love that. No, we're talking with Pastor Mark Jordan. He is the lead pastor of Hope Church Dallas. Go to placeofhope.org. And such a pleasure to talk to you, Pastor. Love to have you back. We will have to pick your brain about that Superman. What I might do is just listen and let you and Ezra just go back and forth and give a rundown.
I'm game. It comes out July 11th. I should be ready to go on July 12th.
Make sure you wear your cape when you're back on the show.
I will do that. I actually probably shouldn't admit that I have one, but I will do that. I will do that.
I love this. We appreciate you so much. Blessings to your family and to your congregation. You guys are making such a huge difference in lives. Thanks for hanging. Pastor Mark Jordan, check out the church. It is Hope Church in Dallas there. Go to placeofhope.org. Next week, another great guest on Two Pastors Unplugged. Have a great week. I'm Rick Probst. See you.
That's a wrap of this episode of Two Pastors Unplugged. But hey, don't stop here. You can click the next video and the next one and the next one. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and to the podcast, just search Two Pastors Unplugged on your favorite app. And we want to connect with you during the week. So go to @Faith Talk Atlanta, and we are everywhere across the board. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.